So we are down here at Level Creek at it again. This property, we get a lot of properties lately with like major drainage issues. I don't know. I'm apparently terrible picking out my own properties without having major drainage issues. You can see over here we got the diggers in the back. And this time we ran into a spring, a natural spring on the property. Let's go check it out. So this is an interesting one, guys. We found a natural spring to the house. Quite honestly, I'm not even sure what's going on over there. But I have the guys out here, irrigation guys. These are the same people, if you remember, we did on the property over in Gainesville where we had a lot of water coming down after rain time. This is a completely different problem. This was a pipe that was had a little bit of break in it. You can't even see it now. It looks like someone maybe drove over it. And then once they drove over it, it exposed like sort of this leaking. So you can see down in here. So there's these black pipes that run corrugated all the way through the yard. And so there was these white pipes like this that went from one trench to the other trench. So when this black pipe got filled up, just think of a big cylinder or tube underneath the ground. It would flow through this white pipe here from one to the other and then would fill up the next one. And then when that gets filled, it goes to the next one and it fills it up. This is very similar to a septic tank, the way a septic tank works. The septic tank, you get water into the first tube and then it fills into the second one, third one, and that's your entire leach field. So this is basically a leach field. The thing is my septic is all the way back over here. This is not the septic. So what we've noticed is there seems to be a natural spring. And the previous owner, who did not disclose to it upon this purchase, put in this fix, which you can see it's all crushed and everything like that, probably just from over time, people running on it or whatever. So this is completely failed. So this has been completely filled up with water here. And you can see there's water running here. And you can see, let me zoom in. You can see there's water running right here. And this is that natural spring. And the problem is it doesn't seem like much, but if this is constantly running water all the time, running water, and you can see the black tube right here, this black tube ran all the way down to this one. And this is the first one that we saw. It completely got crushed, and see how you can see it's filled with dirt up in there. So the water's not going to be flowing through that because it's completely filled with dirt. So now the water is running freely down into here, and then we have to figure out what we're going to do with the water. A couple of things, problems, is if you'll notice these gigantic trees and this gigantic tree that is very close to the particular house. So the reason why this matters is because if you have a lot of water sitting on the ground like this, and you can see over here, there's actually a pool of water, and all of this is very, very wet. It means the root system that these trees anchor into is basically mud. And if you've ever put your foot inside mud and sank to the bottom of it, you'll know what that's like. It's very soft, and you know, it's, the earth is pliable. If I put my boot on here, I'm not going to sink into it because the ground is hard. Well, you need that hard ground to soak or to keep the roots into the ground so this tree does not fall over. So on a big wind, if this is sitting in a big marsh, muddy spot, this tree could fall either direction and could definitely fall into the house. So we have to secure this area, make as dry as possible so that these obviously don't lose their footing. And of course, who wants a yard full of mud? So before we were out here, this is all pretty sopping wet. It looks like it's pretty actually dry now. And that's probably because we've had a couple of days with no rain, but you can see the spring that's coming out over here and it runs down over here, and I'll walk around this other side so you can kind of see it. I'm going to walk around the whole yard because it is sopping wet. And I got the Fendies on, and I do not want to mess up my pristine Fendies that I've only worn out twice. I don't know why I wore them out here, but here we are. So if I walk up over here, you can kind of see that water trailing down. It goes right over the driveway and then it's now seeping down over to there. So the fixes that we're going to be talking about, I'll be meeting them out tomorrow, but basically what they would do is they would pair this corrugated pipe. They would do a series of French drains. Like they would basically cover all of this. They're going to figure out where the water's coming from. There could be a spring over here, could be a spring over here, but they're going to figure out, they would run this water down to a certain area. Instead of allowing it to pool, they'll put a French drain in, which is a drain that goes under the ground. So they'll put a drain in, it'll go under the ground, underneath the slab of concrete, because I want water across my slab concrete. I got mildew, mold, and stuff that's growing in there. It's slippery, it's a hazard, it looks ugly, whatever. So they get this water underneath the ground. They'll run it all the way down this side and then out into that lake, the side property over there, which will eventually be a lake. I think it's a preserve over there because nobody's building on it. So it won't be a big deal there, but all of this water will run down through here underneath the slab and all the way down there. And then they'll just fill all of this in with rock, and they're going to do something called a wetland, which is basically putting in a bunch of trees that love water and that just completely soak up water. Think if you've ever been in a lake, you see all those trees, or the plants around, lake, kind of what they look like. It's like a marsh kind of, and they have those tall grasses and stuff. They're going to do something like that here, basically. So even though they get the water diverted and this will dry up, they'll still get some plants in it. They'll really soak up the rest of the water to solve it. So I'll give an update as that happens. I don't know if there's anything to learn from this other than, I don't know, I guess I could have walked the property a little bit better. I was pretty excited about the rental capabilities of this, so I probably could have walked this just a little bit better to figure out the natural spring. Even if I'd seen it, I think I still would have purchased this property, assuming this is going to be a $10,000 fix, somewhere around that ballpark. So, add a $10,000 to the purchase price of that house. It's a loss of a month and a half or something like that of income. No big deal. Still love the property, still love the acre, but geez, what a hot mess. If I was buying this, and I didn't have the cash flow that I would get, then potentially, it would have been a big mistake, but we're here now. Nothing we can do about it. Oh, one quick note. You can see here, this is the previous owner. You can tell that they already did some kind of marsh and they cut this all down, for whatever particular reason. You can see these trees that are in here. So they already started this wet marsh, which they knew about it, but they didn't disclose it. So kind of a problem. I could actually go back and sue the sellers. But kind of interesting with this property is it was a person that passed away, gave it to a church, and the church sold it to us. So technically maybe the church didn't know about it. Maybe the previous owner knew about it. The church didn't know about it because it was gifted to them. We kind of bought it as is. So again, not a huge deal, but something I could have done better. We'll give you an update once this. So just thinking about this property over here, and kind of what I could have done differently. I'm always trying to think about what I can post and saying what I can learn from the situation. Whenever you do a bad deal, and I would have to put this into a bad deal, although it's going to work out for us, it could potentially have been a catastrophic issue. I try to think about what I could have done differently to maybe not end up in this situation. And to be honest with you, even if I'd found it, I probably still would have purchased it anyway. But this property, I was actually so excited about. I did a post on this earlier, but the prospect of renting these both units out and the return on investment and the possibility of building a lot over here, I never even walked in the front of the yard. And the video, if you go back and look at it, you can actually see me walking over here. I walk around the back of the house and I walk in this big lot, and I end up talking to some guy over here and I get distracted and I never walk up here to the front yard. If I had done that, I would have seen the broken pipe. I would have seen the water running. It would have caused me concern. I probably would have done a little bit more due diligence. But to be honest with you, the end result of that probably would have been me purchasing the house anyway, because whatever owner in this market, whatever owner would have seen it, I could have gone back and said, hey, there's probably a $5,000-$10,000 fix there, knowing that there was a potential issue, but they had other offers. And if the other offers weren't worried about it, I would have lost out on the deal. And I'd much rather have the house with the $5,000 to $10,000 fix than not have the house. So what I could have done, I would say, just like the other video with Gainesville, walk the property, really look for water runoff, water intrusions, something I do pay a little bit more attention to now, just given the last couple of houses we've had with issues like this. But still, even if have known issues, you might still buy it. So wouldn't have changed a whole lot, but what I'll take away from this is walk the properties, and really get a good due diligence on it. And of course, if you're buying the property, like we did in this case, we bought it from a church that had the house donated. It was kind of sold as is. We could have given ourselves a little bit extra due diligence. Could have came out here and inspected a little bit more before placing that offer. Maybe save myself a couple bucks. So either way, if you get any value of our videos, of course, smash the like button, smash the comments. Have you ever run into an issue like this? I'd be interested in what someone else had done to fix a similar issue if you've ever seen something like this. But of course, comment, smash the like button. YouTube likes it. Share with their friends. Helps us out and lets us know that you guys enjoy the videos. Thanks.